At Roadtrip Nation, we've spent over 20 years interviewing inspiring people to help us answer life's big questions. Here's their advice.
Decision making is a very nerve-wracking thing. It's hard when you're in it to not feel so overwhelmed by the enormity of what you're deciding on.
One of the reasons it's hard to pick a path is because you have so many paths. I mean, tyranny of choice is what they're calling the theme.
And that's the enemy. You have to ride the uncertainty. You have to walk through it. You know, that's the question that's just there all the time. Like, what the hell am I doing? Who am I? I'm terrible at this. Why can't I figure this out? But somehow, if you don't feel that, I would be more worried about you.
I know that you're worried about, are you on the right path? Are you doing the thing that's going to yield the most impact down the road? And those are all great questions. But just do something.
Because nothing's going to happen unless you take a step.
You got to go down some path, right? So it's impossible to steer a bike that's standing still.
So the only certainty I have is if you spend your time muddling and confused, okay, you won't do anybody any good.
Don't think about the next 10 steps ahead of you. Don't even think about the next 5 steps, much less a year or 2 days. Just do the next right thing. Yeah. The next right thing.
That's creative.
How do you determine what is the right thing?
Whatever I do next. And it's true, Chase. I mean, so whatever you do next, it's the next right thing.
Because at the end of the day, I'll either learn from it, I'll be really good at it and it will be awesome, or I won't be and I'll move on.
I really had the mentality of no decision is a bad decision unless you don't learn from it. You don't really know if it's a mistake until you try, right? Like, you just don't know.
Trusting your instinct can be sort of the hardest part in decision making.
You have to listen to yourself. And so getting to know yourself is maybe the work of this phase of your life.
You can really kind of only go with what you think is the best fit for you now. And maybe that turns out not to be the best way to go.
And my answer is it just doesn't matter as much as you think it does. So just get started.
And putting other things aside, it doesn't mean you can't come back to them.
10 years from now, you might look back and be like, really, did you have to stress yourself out?
You ought to think about your life, particularly in your 20s, as a stream of experiments. Try different things, take a step.
You don't know what's ahead, and that's a really great thing about allowing yourself to really go out there and take a chance and be vulnerable.
It doesn't have to be so scary and so final, You just have to decide what's next.
Hey there, Ben from Roadtrip Nation here, reigning office ping pong champion and event manager. We're glad you're here. Thanks for watching the videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button over here and watch a few more. Oh, I think it hit.